The clock is running out in D.C. with less than 48 hours to go until a possible government shutdown. Both the House and Senate continuing work on separate stopgap measures. House Republicans still worried about their lack of a coherent message. Speaker Kevin McCarthy says they'll press on.
We work through this and get it done. I don't give up. You work until you get it done, and that's what we'll do. We're not going to walk away. We're not going to go hide in people's corners. We're going to be adults in the room, and we're going to sit down. What does it take to get there?
All this as GOP hardliners plot an attempt to remove McCarthy as Speaker as early as next week. Let's get to the team coverage. Bloomberg's Annmarie alongside Kailey Leinz in Washington, D.C. MH, what's the state of play?
Well, today is going to be a key test for Speaker Kevin McCarthy because, Jonathan, he's going to put a stopgap funding measure on the floor. It's called, as of this morning, Spending Reduction and Border Security Act. Will keep the government open until October 31st. 30% reduction pretty much across all agencies, barring Veteran Affairs, Homeland, and Defense. The issue is, not sure if he has the votes yet, Jonathan, and that is why this is going to be very difficult for Speaker McCarthy, because if he was to then, say, potentially put on the floor the Senate's version, those hard-right members might want to oust him.
Kailey, is it a shutdown or his job? Is that the choice?
It seems like that might be the choice for Speaker McCarthy, or at least run the risk of losing his job, because he has had this threat of a motion to vacate hanging like a sword of Damocles over his head for basically the entire duration of his time as Speaker of the House, John. Really, it's one individual, Republican Matt Gaetz from Florida, who has been leading this charge, threatening this motion. But the thing is, the motion would still need to pass. And I have spoken to multiple Democratic members of the House who have suggested that if McCarthy were to work with Democrats in a bipartisan measure to avoid shutting down the government or get the government funded, they would be willing to step in to help him retain his seat as Speaker. One Congressman, Jim Himes of Connecticut, told me that Democrats would do that over choosing chaos, given how chaotic the Republican Party in the House does feel at times. So it is seeming like there might be a binary choice here. That doesn't necessarily mean that Speaker McCarthy couldn't come out of it on the other side, but it does speak to the fact that he is really beholden to certain members of his party, or at least having to run the risk of going through that whole exercise.